How are you, my dear students? We are going to start our new topics. Here's the new topics. This topic is the last topic in this chapter. Here's the last chapter, and the last topic we also explain about the transpiration. In the previous class, we also explained about the diffusion, osmosis, water and mineral absorption of salt and water, and now today we are going to start our last topic is the transpiration. Now, what's the meaning of transpiration? Here's the transpiration. Transpiration is a special physiological process of plant. We learned from the earlier lesson that water is essential for different physiological work of plant. For that, plant absorbs a vast amount of water from soil through roots hair. Plants use a portion of this water in different metabolic activities, and rest of it goes out in the form of vapor to the atmosphere. The loss of water in the form of vapor through evaporation from the moist surface of the internal tissue of the aerial parts of the plants, especially the leaves, is known as transpiration. There are three kinds of transpiration based on the outlet of the plant through which water is lost, such as stomata. Stomata transpiration, this is the major from the transpiration. Cuticular transpiration, transpiration through the cuticle of leaves and stems. Lenticular transpiration, some water vapors go out through lenticels of the stem. The stomata under simple microscope and lenticels of stem is naked. Eyes can be seen easily. My dear students, here I just draw the stomata. Here's the stomata. Please everyone see this. The board, this structure is the stomata, and the water from the weather is going to the stomata. And second structure is the lenticular. Here's this structure is the lenticular and also the stem. Now, lesson 7, significance of transpiration. Here's the significance of transpiration. Transpiration is a very essential and inevitable process for plants. High rate of transpiration is harmful for the plants. That is why apparently transpiration is known as the necessary evil for the plants. Nevertheless, transpiration is very much useful for plants because due to transpiration, excess water is released in the atmosphere. Thus decreases water pressure of the plant body. The condition for endosmosis, and the endosmosis transpiration prevents plants from getting overheated and also maintains proper humidity of the leaves. Water is very much essential. The water is very much essential for photosynthesis, the process for manufacture of food. Transpiration ensures consequently supply of water to the leaves. Due to transpiration, there develops a pull into the transportation cuticular tube which helps to lift the water through the xylem vessels from root to leaves through stem. Unlike photosynthesis and respiration, transpiration shows very little effect on the environment, but in water cycle, terrestrial plants convert land water into water vapors that go out in the atmosphere through transpiration. During transpiration, a huge amount of water is released in the atmosphere in the form of water vapors. My dear students, here's the transpiration. The main method is the everyday. The water also the atmosphere is go out in the environment. So the water is go out the environment. The another name is the transpiration, and the significance of transpiration. Here's the transpiration is the evil. Another structure is the necessity of evil of the transpiration. And also our last topics. Here's the last topics, lesson 8 to 10. Transportation of water and mineral salts. We have already known that plants absorb water and mineral salts from the soil through root of the root. This water and solution of mineral salts must reach the leaves because leaves mainly use these as raw materials for the manufacture of food during photosynthesis. Again, the leaves send manufactured food to stem and branches. The process by which absorbed water from root hair reaches leaves and food from leaves reaches different parts of the plant's body is known as the transpiration. Like absorption transpiration process is great importance. Transportation takes place through vascular tissue, xylem and phloem. Water absorbed through root is carried up to the leaves through xylem tissue, and liquid food materials from leaves reach different parts of the plant body through phloem tissue. So vascular tissue, xylem and phloem are the transporting channels of the plant's body. The transporting process is carried out in the following way. Water enters into the body through root hair by osmosis, and in the mineral salt dissolved in water is absorbed by inactive and active absorption and reaches xylem tissue. Here we know there are the basically two tissue. First category is the xylem tissue and again is the phloem tissue. In the xylem tissue they also flow the water, and the phloem tissue they also flow the food. Here's the xylem tissue. Xylem is responsible for the upward transport of sap. Here's the sap. It also the mixed the sodium chloride, potassium chloride and also the water. The another name is the sap. Here, liquid food materials manufactured in the leaves go down through phloem tissue. Upward and downward transportation is known as the transportation of plants. Water and minerals dissolved in soil water absorbed by root hair and transported to the leaves through xylem vessels can be probed by an experiment. Here's the experiment. There also need the papilloma plant. For this we need papilloma plant. The stem and midrib of leaf of this plant is transparent. Now we also observe the experiments. First the experiments. First category is the activity. Experiment of water transportation. Requirement. Dopati or papilloma plant, bottle, cotton, red dye, water. Method. Uproot a papilloma or dopati plant and wash the root thoroughly in water. Now take a bottle and pour water and finally drop a few drops of red dye in it. Pour the root part of the plants into the bottle and set the experiment as in figure. After a few hours, it will be found that the stem and leaf vein becomes red. Take the plant out of the bottle, make a cross or the longitudinal section and put it under a microscope and note that you have found. After the observation, what would be your conclusion and what would we prove from this? My dear students, today I just finished this chapter. Basically, this chapter in the first category is the diffusion. Here's the diffusion. We also explain what's the meaning of diffusion and the types of diffusion and importance of diffusion. The second category is the osmosis. Here's the osmosis. Basically, there are the three parts of the osmosis. First is the impermeable membrane. Second is the permeable membrane. Third is the semi-permeable membrane. And the last structure is basically importance of osmosis. We also explain what's the importance of osmosis in the nature. And the next category is the absorption of water and mineral salts. Here's the absorption of water and mineral salts. It also needs the osmosis method. Now, today I also select the transpiration. Here's the transpiration. There are also the difference between the osmosis and the diffusion. Here's the transpiration. We also explain about the three types of transpiration. First category is the stomata, second is the cuticular, and third is the lenticular. And the last category is the significance of transpiration and the transpiration of water and the mineral salts. Now, what we have learned at the end of this chapter? Process of diffusion and osmosis. Plants absorb water by diffusion and osmosis and mineral salts from capillary solution of the soil by active and inactive transportation via root hair. Water and mineral salts reach the leaves through xylem vessels. Phloem carries food materials from leaves to different branches and twigs. Water is essential for manufacture of food materials, and osmosis ensures continuous flows of water to leaves. Transpiration creates a pull in the xylem vessels, and it helps in absorption of water through root hair. My dear students, in the next class we also explain another topics and another category. I think that's also today. That's enough. Thank you.